Guys, the 2026 World Cup is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. It's not just bigger because of the 48 teams. FIFA has introduced a whole bunch of new rules that are going to change how the game is played, how it flows, and even how teams approach every single match. Some of these changes are going to make the football faster and more exciting, while others are going to punish time wasting and bad behavior. Today I'm going to explain every major new rule in proper detail. I'll tell you exactly what's changing, why FIFA brought it in, and how it's actually going to affect teams and players on the pitch. By the end of this, you'll understand why this World Cup is going to feel so different. Let's get straight into it. First rule, the 48-team format and completely new group stage. The most obvious change is the jump from 32 to 48 teams. Instead of 8 groups, we now have 12 groups of 4 teams each. The top 2 teams from every group will go through to the knockout stage, and the 8 best third-place teams will also qualify. This completely changes the group stage. In previous World Cups, once a team had enough points to qualify, their final group match sometimes became a bit of a dead rubber. That's not going to happen as easily now. A team sitting in third place can still have a realistic chance of going through if they finish as one of the best third-placed sides. Imagine a situation where two teams are fighting for that extra qualification spot on the final match day. Both teams know that a draw or even a narrow defeat might still be enough depending on other results. This is going to create much more tense and attacking football in the later group games. Coaches won't be able to rest key players as freely, and fans are going to get more meaningful matches overall.
Second rule is head-to-head becomes the main tiebreaker. This is one of those rules that looks small on paper, but is actually going to have a big impact. In the group stage, if two teams finish with the same number of points, the first tiebreaker will now be their head-to-head result instead of goal difference. Previously, a team could lose to their direct rival, but still overtake them by scoring lots of goals against weaker teams. That route has now been closed. If you beat the team you're level with, you go through. It's as simple as that. This rule is going to reward teams that win their important matches rather than just smashing minnows. Possession-based teams that like to control games might struggle more because they can't rely on huge goal differences anymore. On the other hand, teams that are good at winning tight matches against similar opposition will benefit. It's going to make the final round of group games even more dramatic because every result between tied teams suddenly carries massive weight. Third rule is the 5-second rule for throw-ins and goal kicks. FIFA has finally decided to properly deal with time wasting, and this rule is going to be very visible. Referees can now start a 5-second countdown when a team is taking a throw-in or a goal kick. If the ball isn't back in play by the time the countdown ends, possession is lost. For throw-ins, the ball goes to the opposition. For goal kicks, it becomes a corner for the attacking team. This is going to completely change how teams manage the clock, especially when they're leading late in the game. Think about those frustrating moments when a goalkeeper walks slowly to take a goal kick or a player takes forever to throw the ball in. That's not going to work anymore. Teams are going to have to play much quicker. It should add several minutes of actual playing time to matches and make the game flow better. Fans who hate time wasting are going to love this rule. Fourth rule, the 10-second substitution rule. Substitutions are also getting much stricter. Once the fourth official shows the substitution board, the player who is coming off has only 10 seconds to leave the pitch. They also have to exit through the nearest touchline instead of walking all the way across the field. This stops teams from using substitutions as a way to waste time or break up the opposition's momentum. In the past, some players would take their time walking off, especially when their team was defending a lead. That's over now. Coaches will need to plan their substitutions more carefully because they won't get those extra 30 or 40 seconds they used to enjoy. The game should feel smoother and faster because of this. It's a small change, but it's going to make a noticeable difference in how fluid matches feel, especially in the later stages when substitutions happen more often. Next, fifth rule, mandatory cooling breaks in every half. Player welfare has become a bigger priority, and cooling breaks are now mandatory in every half. Around the 22nd minute of each half, there will be a short break where players can hydrate and recover. This is especially important because the tournament is being played in summer across the USA, Canada, and Mexico, where temperatures can get very high.
These breaks aren't optional. They're built into the match timing. Teams will obviously use them to their advantage, but more importantly, they should help prevent players from suffering from exhaustion or heat-related problems. For fans, this means we should see better quality football in the second half of matches because players will be fresher. It's a sensible rule that protects the players while still keeping the entertainment value high. We might see teams use these breaks to make tactical adjustments too. Sixth rule, expanded VAR powers. VAR is getting more authority at this World Cup. Referees can now ask for video reviews in more situations than before. This includes incorrectly awarded corner kicks, as long as it doesn't delay the restart too much, second yellow cards, and cases where there might be mistaken identity on a card. The aim is to reduce the number of big mistakes that change the outcome of matches. If a corner was wrongly given or a player was shown a second yellow by error, VAR can step in and correct it. Of course, more VAR reviews might slow the game down slightly in some moments, but overall, it should lead to fairer decisions, especially in the knockout stages where one mistake can end a team's World Cup dream. Fans will probably still complain about some decisions, but there should be fewer clear errors that everyone agrees were wrong. Seventh rule is new red card rules for player conduct. This is probably going to create the most talking points. FIFA has introduced new sending off offenses. Any player who covers their mouth with their hand, arm, or shirt while confronting an opponent can now be shown a straight red card. The same applies to players who walk off the pitch in protest after a referee decision. Even team officials aren't safe. If a manager or coach encourages players to leave the field in protest, they can also receive a red card. The idea is to reduce dissent and stop players from hiding what they're saying during confrontations. Covering the mouth has become very common, and FIFA wants to stamp it out. This should lead to cleaner behavior on the pitch and less time wasted on arguments with the referee. It's a strong message that bad attitude and gamesmanship won't be tolerated at the highest level. And the last one, eighth rule is, injured players must leave the pitch for 1 minute. The final major change is aimed at stopping fake injuries being used to waste time. If a player receives on-pitch treatment, they must now leave the field for at least 1 full minute before they're allowed to return. This rule is designed to prevent teams from using injuries as a tactical tool to slow the game down when they're leading. In the past, some players would stay down for a long time, even when they weren't seriously hurt. Now there's a clear consequence. Combined with all the other tempo-related rules, this should make matches feel more continuous and intense. The overall message from FIFA is very clear. They want less stoppages, more actual football, and better flow throughout the tournament.
So that's every major new rule that's coming to the 2026 World Cup. From the expanded 48-team format and new tiebreakers to faster substitutions, stricter time-wasting rules, more VAR involvement, and brand new red card offenses, this tournament is going to look and feel very different from previous ones. These changes are meant to make the football faster, fairer, and more exciting for everyone watching. Some rules will be loved immediately, others might create controversy in the early matches, but one thing is certain, the 2026 World Cup is going to be one of the most talked about tournaments in years. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and drop a comment telling me which rule you think will have the biggest impact on the tournament. Which one are you most excited about? I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.